Does it bother
Chad
you?
has vibrations on his phone, and
Does it bother you?
it'll wake me up in the middle of the night. Does Tom not complain? Well, you do have middle of the night.
Wait, do you bring your phone in with you when you sleep?
Do people not?
Oh, no. You got to leave your phone outside your bedroom. I don't care. Are you going to say...
It sounds like a big thing, like, don't have a television in your
Yeah,
bedroom.
I don't have a television in my bedroom.
We did write for a bit.
I know. It's not good.
And it was glorious. All of a sudden, you're just like, wait, I get it. And then we went back and don't have it again.
You shouldn't have a phone next to you when you sleep because of the EMF and all that shit.
Well, then also I do like the secret thing where I'll scroll a little and like, and like if Chad goes to the bathroom, I scroll like a little bit. And then when he comes back in, I tuck it under the pillow. Like I wasn't doing anything.
Why will he yell at you?
No, just because I feel guilt. Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm Candice.
And welcome to Don't Start.
And as we like to say, don't start.
Candice, save it for the show.
Exactly. So let's get to it. Our fashion has totally changed in 2 episodes. And this is why I texted Sarah yesterday and I said to myself, first I said it to myself and then I texted you. Yeah. And I said, oh my God, I have to start wearing actual makeup and dress like a human. Otherwise, I look like homeless next to you. You always look so gorgeous. So I was like, I have to step it up.
I did a balance of coiffing my hair and face.
You know what? I have more jewelry on than you, and that never happens.
And I wanted to tell you so much when I worked on HSN as a jewelry host.
HSN.
In a past life.
Yes.
Past life. One of my biggest ways I would sell, I was like, you know how they tell you in fashion, when you walk out the door and you have all these accessories on, just take one piece off.
Really?
There was like a saying about taking one piece off. And my way of selling jewelry was like, more is more. When you think you don't have enough, add another piece.
I love it. I grew up with a mother who literally wore fur coats, hoop earrings, and tons of necklaces and bracelets. We don't know when to stop. Yeah. So I literally walked in this morning and I was like, Sarah, is this too much? I feel like I have hoops, a necklace, 2 bracelets. What's happening?
Just when you think you don't have enough, more is more. Get another.
You know what? More is more. Who said less is more? Bullshit.
Get rid of them.
Bullshit.
Because Florida Panthers are going to the Stanley Cup. Woo! Let me hear it. Go Cats.
I have no idea what this means, but I know the Stanley Cup was important because the Rangers won in the 90s and they never won again or something, right? Tom always complains about that.
Sports history.
That's
we'll have
my
to
sports history.
Go to the experts.
Producer? Wait,
but
there isn't one.
Chad and I have been watching the Florida Panthers for now like 3 years because they've gone to not because they went. We're not just jumping on the bandwagon.
No. You're dedicated.
From South Florida.
You're dedicated.
But this is their 3rd Stanley Cup opportunity. They won last year.
Yeah.
So they're back in it. When this comes out, they may have won already.
Oh my God, that's so exciting.
That's like.
Are you going to try to go?
No, too expensive.
Too expensive. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yep.
You're like, just in case I need a kidney in the future.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. I agree with you on that.
So anyway, I'm representing sports.
You look great in your sports outfit. I love it. Thanks. I'm wearing hoops.
But yes, so sports and hoops. We really are trying new things in our lives.
I mean, here's the thing. I'm Italian. I should be wearing hoops all day long. And I do when I'm not performing. When I'm performing, I don't wear hoops because I move my body like a crazy human and my ears hurt and then I want my earrings smacking my face.
2 things.
Yes. Are you giving me advice on hoops?
From New Jersey.
That's true.
And Staten Island, you work
you work it. Mm-hmm,
right?
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I avoid hoops because I'm like, oh God, it's coming out. Like my background, my Northeast attitude.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
you feel like yes. I would say the statin is coming out of me.
Yes,
the
exactly.
Statin's coming out. Mm-hmm.
And then the second thing I would say, when you say I move my body like a crazy person,
I do.
You move it like someone that's been on stage.
It's true. I move I'm jumping around like a crazy person on stage. So I'm like, I can't wear the hoops. It pulls my face down. It pulls my ears down. And if it gets stuck on my mic, I'm going to have a heart attack because I wear a face mic.
Yeah.
So I don't want it.
Completely. A microphone that goes across your face.
For those of you that don't know.
So Candice and I realized as we talk about our antics in the biz.
Yes.
That sometimes we don't explain ourselves, that we speak the same language, and not everybody that's listening speaks.
I know.
Speaks the crazy.
It's really, they don't speak the crazy. So I feel like Sarah and I thought about it and we were like, for those of you that are mentally healthy, a body mic and a face mic go here. We're always going to refer to those who aren't in the business as mentally healthy.
That one's pretty much straightforward.
You
face
get that,
mic.
right?
A face mic is pretty straightforward. We were talking about like when we talk about IMDb, Internet Movie Database.
Yes.
Like, those little things.
It's true. And the face mic is actually called a lavalier for those of you that really want to know the biz.
Yahoo!
But our guest today is so freaking stylish.
Well, let's talk about that. He speaks our language.
He really
He's
does.
stylish. He's fabulous. He
my
travels the world.
Ravi Roth and I have been friends for over 20 years. Basically, you know Ravi through me, but it's still like you know him for 20 years.
I know him through you.
Through me.
Yeah.
And he's the most amazing human ever. But he does kind of what we talked about in the first episode. He did a pivot. He was in theater and he was like, I kind of want something for myself. And now he's like this social media influencer for the LGBTQ community. He travels around the world. Ravi Around the World is where he is his handle. And he goes everywhere. I literally joke with him, I will in a bit, that like he doesn't need a plane ticket. He just holds out to the back of the plane and he's like, I'm going. He'll go anywhere.
Honestly, I could see that in his content that he could hold on to a plane and go there. I don't know what his team does. We got to find out about his team. We have to find about how important the message is for him, for LGBTQ plus advocacy all around the entire world, finding those fabulous friendly places that of course we want to go to. But I also love his style and he's just brilliant at what he does. So I cannot wait to have more conversations with him.
I know. He's such a good human.
Why don't we bring him in?
Let's go. Hi.
Yay!
Oh, hi. Did we do it?
Are we live?
We did it.
Can we ask right up front, where are you? Where are you right now?
I'm in New York.
Hey, well, why don't you just come over? Just kidding.
He said, he was like, I will get there. I was like, no, we're going to do it through Zoom because I want to see your face on Zoom. And if we royally fuck this up, you'll tell us and it'll be the perfect person to fuck it up with. Mama, I'm so happy you're here.
I'm so happy to be here too.
You're such a busy human. And first of all, thank you for taking the time to hang with Sarah and I. You're our first guest. And there's a reason.
Celebrate. Cue confetti.
Wait.
Fireworks.
Producer. Ravi, why are you our first guest? Well, you're our first guest because one, you're one of my favorite humans ever. I love you. I've known you for 20 somewhat years. I think over that. I don't want to talk about it. He just took a drink.
Everybody drank.
Is this sponsored by Dunkin' Donuts?
It's been an amazing friendship, but I'm so proud to have you as the first guest because we both felt like at the end of the day, who do we want to talk to immediately? I was like, Ravi, who's doing the thing that Sarah and I most appreciate, which is we call pivoting, but at the same time, it's evolving and it's constantly being fresh and new. And as you and I, Ravi, always joke, it's this DIY career of like literally doing it all yourself and building a brand from scratch. And that's what you did. You are this huge social media influencer. You are
content creator,
a huge voice for the LGBTQ community that I want you to talk so much about it. And I don't want to talk over you because I will talk for you all day long.
Ravi Around the World. How did it start?
Ravi Around the World. How did it start, Mama?
Don't start. Are we starting? Did it start?
Son of a bitch. Yes.
It started. Okay. How did I start Ravi Around the World? When I was about 28, I was dating this guy named Josh Rodriguez, and I wanted to propose to him.
I remember Josh Rodriguez very well.
And I never left the country. So I decided we were going to go on a trip to London, Paris, and Barcelona. And on this trip, I was going to propose. And I did. And we're not together anymore. That's fine. But
it didn't go as scheduled planned, but that's okay.
I came home from this trip because I was like an idiot abroad. I knew absolutely nothing. And I was, at the time, taking videos like this for YouTube, which means if you take a video vertically and you put it on YouTube, you're going to have black squares on the side.
You have to understand, when you told me that when we went out for coffee, I was like, Sarah, we got to freaking fix our phone etiquette.
No, I know we flip different ways for different. So which way am I supposed to flip for Instagram and TikTok?
But moving forward in the world, Instagram and TikTok are this.
It's a debate we have.
That's vertical, but you need to go horizontal.
Just like have one. Just have
We're
one.
holding hands.
Just have one. Sarah and I hold hands.
We've been starting to holding hands to get through things now.
Oh my God.
Because this has been our debate. But anyway, keep focusing on your story.
So I came home and I showed my talent manager all my vertical videos. And he's like, you're really funny. You could have a travel show. And I was like, I don't know anything about travel, and I don't even know if I like that. And these videos are really busted. And in that room, at that exact moment, one of my best friends from college, Catherine McPhee, calls me, and she's like, "What are you doing tomorrow?" And I said, "Catering." And she said, "You're getting on a private jet with me, and we're going to the White House Correspondents' Dinner."
Oh, come
And
on.
this-
That's a great phone call, isn't it?
Sarah, we need better friends. No, I'm just kidding.
She just kicked me out.
This was during the Obama administration. I go to the White House Correspondents' Dinner and I take video. Now I'm doing it like this. Sideways.
Horizontal.
Horizontal. And then I put it all together, and it was like still like really bad, but I got a bunch of celebrity cameos, and everyone was like, "That's okay," but no one's buying travel. No one's buying travel. And I go on a couple more trips, make a couple more videos, and I go to the bar at Grand Central Station. Random. Why would I go there? Have you been there?
No.
Which bar? I was just at a bar in Grand Central Station, and we had one of the worst bites of food.
I don't even know what the name of it. It was like a classy one where like younger women maybe go there to pick up rich older men.
I feel like it was that place, and we had this, like, I thought it was going to be this charming, like, tostini, and it was just, like, basically fish on toast.
Oh,
and
gross.
It was sardines with mayo. And Chad's like, that was the worst bite of food we've had. But it might be that place, but we won't give him a name.
We won't give him a name, no. But I'm there and I'm at the bar and there's this random woman sitting next to me and we start talking and I was like, "What do you do?" She goes, "I work for the Travel Channel."
So basically it was the universe. It was the universe aligning everything with you and being like, Obama, Travel Channel woman, Catherine McPhee, and you have a ton of talent and personality. You finally figured out whether it was vertical or horizontal on the phone. I'm just kidding. No, but and it all kind of connected in that moment. And you had the freaking guts. And that's the thing that I'll always say. People don't have the guts to do it all the time. You had the guts to be like, I'm going to take this and run with it. There's something here.
Well,
what's the next step with the guts?
The ooks.
Yeah, what's got the chutzpah?
Well, I have the chutzpah, but I didn't necessarily have the goods at that moment.
How'd you find the goods?
Well, so I told her, I was like, "Well, I have a gay travel show for you." And she said, "Honey, I'm a lesbian and the Travel Channel is never going to do anything gay, but I can tell you have star quality. Can I help develop you?"
Love it.
What?
Love it.
This is a Hollywood story in New York. It's a New York story.
I honestly,
that's sensational.
That's your Hollywood story. And I always think of a Hollywood story of like a man with a top hat and a cigar being like, "I want to make you a star." And that's kind
She
of
said,
what.
but instead she said, "I'm a lesbian from
I'm
the
a
Travel
lesbian
Channel."
from the Travel Channel, and I'm going to make you a star. It's the same thing.
So her name was Anna Garwood, and Anna then left the Travel Channel, started her own production company, and then we did like a pilot with her production company when I went to Barcelona. That also went nowhere, but she was kind of also like, "Girl, you're a mess. Like, let's figure out a format and let's like figure out how to make this happen." So then I came back from that and bullshitted my way into a couple travel conferences. And I convinced this woman named Ana Romero from Visit Spain to bring me on a press trip. And she's like, "You have 4,000 followers." And this Spanish accent, "You have 4,000.
That was really a really good Spanish accent. That's actually almost as good as my Southern, which comes out Jamaican. It's terrible. Moving on.
I do want to hear that though.
It's terrible.
And I told Ana Romero that I'm gonna deliver, and then she brought me to Spain, and I delivered, and since then, I hit the ground, and I started getting free trips around the world. Wasn't making any money, and I was working a million survival jobs, as we do,
as we all know,
as we all do.
And I got so burnt out. And this was at the end of 2019. And all I wanted to do was like make money doing this. And then obviously the world stopped 2020.
For everyone. And it's awful.
And obviously travel stopped. But it was in that moment of having a few months of doing nothing but sitting there thinking about what I want to do in life, where I think like when you do put the work in, eventually it's going to just, the universe is going to take care of you. No matter how you believe or what you believe, it's going to take care of you. And I got a job offer for New York City Tourism to do a video about my like 7 happy places in New York City that was going to pay enough money for me to get my own apartment. And I was like, "Wait, what?"
Wow.
That's huge.
And so then it became full time since the pandemic, and I got brand deals because the acting business was shut down.
That's right.
Entertainment shut down. People were glued to their phones, and influencers became a thing. And I had no interest in ever becoming an influencer. I just wanted a hub to put these travel videos. And then all of a sudden I was like starting to dress like a little more cute, and I was like getting like these random brand deals that were so cool and so fun and creative to make. And I've taught myself everything. Like you, Candice, like I mean, both of you have like an amazing careers, and I want to talk about you too. But it was I'm a self-starter in that I taught myself how to edit, I taught myself how to shoot, I taught myself how to produce, I taught myself everything, but innately I have the star quality. And so like there's something about knowing that.
Yes, I
Okay,
love that.
Can we take a second though? There was a lot of things that in that story that stand out, and the sip of Dunkin' Donuts really added to it. Ravi, you say this and you say, I have the star quality, and that kind of confidence. And I said chutzpah, which I always love, that kind of word. But like you jump in the deep end fearlessly. So I'm just thinking about people listening to that, and how do they find that for themselves? That you are very daring, and it seems like you don't look back and you just go for it, which I love. And I think that's how we all in this conversation live. But what would you say to people listening to kind of gain that kind of energy that you just literally ooze?
Well, I think that I've had so much rejection in my life, and so many people telling me that I'm not good enough, and that they're not buying travel, or that I'm not a good enough actor, and that I'm not a good enough singer, and I need to lose weight, and like so many things that have really brought me down in life. And I've honestly used that as fuel. I've always used it as fuel.
Yeah, I love that about you, because this is kind of what Sarah and I were talking about the other day, where it's like the entertainment business can be so hard on so many people, right? And some people, it's too hard on them and they can't bounce back. But the thing about you, and if you don't know and you're listening, Ravi is a phenomenal theater actor, singer. Like that's how I met Ravi. We met each other a million years ago in some shitty ass summer stock. That I'll keep quiet. But he was the one in the room with like this bright light of energy. And I remember looking across the room and being like, I want to be friends with that person. And he literally came right up to me and was like, I was like the lead of West Side Story. I was the semi-lead, as they say. I was playing Anita. I was playing Anita. I mean, Italian playing Anita. And he literally came up to me and he was like, why are you being quiet? And I was. My first reaction is to be quiet. And we were doing the singing, like, intro to everyone was like singing their parts. And it was like the first time I was introduced to everybody. He was like, own it, own it. And I remember thinking, I need to be friends with this human. Yeah. But just the fact that he was willing to celebrate others. He did not meet me. I did not know him. Here I was, this little quiet, like 21-year-old, I think maybe 20. I don't even know. We were young as fuck. But I just remember that bright light. And I think you were able to bounce back from so many things in life. And that to me itself is I'm going to call it the it quality. Yeah, the it quality is also the survival. And I think that's what the business does to a lot of us.
And I think we shouldn't even just talk about it specifically to entertainment biz.
That's true.
We're literally talking to everybody and saying that ironically, the moments of the no's are what propel you to move forward. It's the Denzel Washington quote of like the fall forward.
Yes.
Make it momentum forward. So let's continue with your story.
I have more questions.
Yeah, well, that's what we're. Yeah, that's
I have a question.
Let's get into it.
You go everywhere. Do you have a list of how many cities you've traveled to? And when you travel to these cities, what is the goal?
Oh, I don't have a list of cities, but I've been to 44 countries, and I've been to every continent.
Can I tell you that's on the internet? I was going to tell you it's 44. I did my research.
She Googled
but you
you.
said it first.
But not cities. I don't know about cities.
Okay.
Cities is...
All right, so you did 44 countries, probably in upwards of at least 100 cities.
Oh, at least, yeah. And when I get to a city, what's the goal?
Yeah, when you get to a city, what is the goal for you?
Do you have it laid out? Do you have it all planned?
Oh, so this is the thing. So I am not a type A person. I have 500,000 emails. I have like 4,000 texts, just dings and notifications everywhere.
My chest is actually heaving. My chest is hiving because I'm the person when the one email comes in, I'm like, delete. Like I need it to say 0. And when you sit next to Rob and you look at his phone, it's like emails. It's like 6,947. I'm like,
I don't care about that. So when I go, I have like, obviously I have certain things I want to hit. So for me, I love adventure and adrenaline. So why don't we take the trip I just got back from, and we can dissect it, if you will. So I just went to Delaware. I did a road trip with Visit Delaware.
Oh, sorry. It just made me laugh because I think we're going to go someplace very...
And he has gone to exotic places.
I know, you have been exotic places, but you said... Do you know that famous... Like from...
Wayne's World.
Yes.
Wayne's World.
Yes. And I'm in Delaware.
Delaware.
Oh, my God.
Delaware? What's in Delaware? Okay, so I'm going on a road trip to Delaware, and I'm working with Visit Delaware, and I have to hit 4 cities. And the agent, I work with an agency that works with someone that works with Visit Delaware. So anyway, the day before, I get my loose itinerary, so things that they want me to hit. And I was like, okay, cool. I want to go ziplining and I want to do a ropes course. I want to go parasailing. I want to do yoga in the water. And they're like, none of those things were on their list.
I made a new list, guys.
It's like, I have some ideas.
And they had some museums. So like, I knew that I had to like explore culture. For me, it's always adrenaline and adventure, because that's gonna, you have to think about it. How is it gonna perform, right? How is it gonna perform online? Are people going to go to my website and book a tour in this zipline area? Are people going to watch my reel and say like, oh, when I go on a road trip to Delaware, well, A, I should go on a road trip to Delaware because this is so epic. And B, this is what I should do. And so I went to Wilmington first, and I wasn't really like so excited to go to Wilmington. Like, I'm going to Rio, I'm going to Wilmington. It's Wilmington. So I've never been. And I knew that I was going to explore the queer culture and then find some adrenaline. So I get there and I go immediately to this enchanted forest where there's like, I felt like Alphaba. There were these like little mini castles and these huts, and there was a little broom. So I did like an Alphaba moment in this magical forest. I went to a queer bookstore because my other angle is to illuminate movers and shakers in the LGBT space, no matter where I go. So adventure and illumination of LGBT people. If I have those 2 pillars, then the rest will fall into place. The magical part of this was that my first day, they had a couple things lined out, and then it was like at night, I could have done whatever I wanted. I could have gone to dinner wherever I wanted. I could have, stayed in and edited. But I stayed at an Airbnb in a tiny home, and my hosts connected me to their friends that are in the LGBT community. They told me about a pop-up queer event. I went, made really good friends with this guy who's running for Attorney General in Delaware. I interviewed a bunch of the people there. They took me under their wing. They brought me back to their house. We went in their hot tub, and then we went to the one gay bar in town and did karaoke. And I was like, this is community. This is amazing. And this would have never happened if everything I had was planned to a T.
Oh, I love that.
And it would never have happened if it wasn't you being the host, because of your background, because of who you are, and because the energy, just like Candice talked about, how she was the choir girl trying to like focus on her work. And you're like, it's time to have some fun, Candice. That's what's so great, is you thought outside the box, which then shows the authentic nature of that community, which is so important.
But riding by the seat of your pants, which is such a thing that I always think of, like, Candice, just go for it. I'm not great at that. I've gotten better, but you're so good at that. Just being like, let's just see what happens, right? And that sort of daringness is like what Sarah said, is what's going to connect you to all these people to do all these amazing things. But honestly, I have to ask this other question, because this is always what we joke about. You're like a one-man show in itself. And what I mean by that is, do you have a team that you travel with, or you're traveling with like 47 cameras? I just think it's a talent in itself. You have to tell me this.
Yeah, we need to know what's behind the scenes. Tell us.
Because your videos are amazing.
It's like, it depends, honestly. So for the most part, I'd say like 80% of the time, I'm traveling with myself, my phone, my GoPro, my Insta 360 camera, my camera for videos. Like, I have another camera, and then my drone, a couple tripods, a couple clack fans.
Yeah, of course.
That's already like 6-7 things of equipment.
My God, we need to have something we could just pull out, like a gosh darn fan. I just got a fan because one of my friends brought out a fan at lunch, and I said, I don't think I knew you before a fan. And now you have a fan. And I said, I need a fan to have. Like, because it just adds personality to a person.
I love it. He has a rainbow fan, everyone who can't see him.
Everyone needs a fan. Yes. I travel as a one-man band, but also, like, for example, next week I'm heading to Washington, D.C. for World Pride, and I'm gonna have a videographer, and we're making a documentary together. So I have someone that's gonna be shooting, and I can just be talent.
You know what? That's because you've worked that hard to get that. But in the beginning, you were the hustle bus and you were with 6 cameras doing everything. Like now,
I still am the hustle bus. And so, but I also like,
These are good,
I
the
don't know,
hustle
I feel
bus.
like you guys could probably relate in that even having someone that can help with things, like Candice,
yes,
you just literally made a comedy
Yeah, I
special.
I did.
And you had somebody that was cutting it and editing
Yes,
it.
I did.
But I'm sure you still were overseeing
Over
that and
the
being like,
shoulder,
"Oh,
over the shoulder, seeing it.
It's actually quite awful how much I was involved that I actually was like, birthing my son was easier. Like this was so hard because I was literally.
For all the women out there that had tough pregnancies, we apologize.
Screw that. Even after all my years of infertility and struggle, nope. This was harder. The editing and staring at myself for hours and hours and hours.
But Ravi, what I would say, and I think we communicate, like all 3 of us would say it, nobody will work as hard for yourself as you will.
Yep.
For your success, right? And also for what you're passionate about. And that's what I want to talk about for your LGBTQ plus advocacy across the world. How important is that voice to you, especially next week in DC?
I mean, it's the most important. I think what's really special is that I can get into any room. And I say this in that, like, as a white cisgender gay man, it's not gonna be really hard for me to get into any room. But what I also can do is lift up other voices with my platform. I'm going to be at the largest human rights conference in the world for 3 days with the top diplomats and politicians and celebrities from around the world. And I'm going to be literally in the mix with them, backstage with them, interviewing them, hearing them speak, sharing this story. And so for me, it's like the advocacy, especially now, I mean, in the United States, it is really hard for trans people. It is really hard for non-binary people. It's getting really hard around the world for everyone in that community. So the advocacy is the most important. Yes, we want to show people how we can have fun and party and all of that, but I like to say it's party with purpose.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, I'm taking that's incredible.
Party with purpose. I usually say organized chaos, but party with purpose.
And how incredible is it to work so hard and achieve the success to now be at a place where you are in that place in DC, speaking among these people? That you must have so much pride in that and in yourself. I know for me and Candice, we are so epically proud of that, and what you represent is so important. But even like thinking about where your entire life, right? If you can tell your younger self, hey, check me out, look what I'm doing, it gets me emotional thinking about it. It must be so powerful to you. Next week, that's just sensational, Ravi.
And it's giving back, Mama, right? Like you just give back. You're doing it naturally. By the way, everyone, I call him Mama. We've been calling each other that for 20 years. Mama, 20 years. But it's like you're giving back to the world in a way that is so authentically you.
Yeah.
Right?
And how good does that feel?
Right? I don't think people get to do that in their lifetime.
Yeah. So I lost my mom in 2020. And before she died, she told us all this phrase, which is tikkun olam, which means to repair this broken world. And so I think that I had a big shift after that moment, because I mean, losing a parent is like the hardest part of life, and it's a club that no one wants to be a part of it when you're a part of it, and when you're in that club, you know. But I think that my intentions with everything that I'm doing is to do my part to repair this broken world. And it is broken, but it's not ended. It's just we have to do our part. And so I put that into everything I do, whether it's going to a little town in Delaware, after I went to Wilmington, I went to this place called Bear, Bear. And in Bear, Delaware, there was a ziplining course, and I went to the main offices. It was thunderstorming, so they're like, just kiki inside here with us. And everyone that worked there was non-binary, trans, neurodivergent, or an ally. And we just like had these amazing conversations in the middle of this small town in Delaware. And so like finding community and uplifting it everywhere is just like I love it. And it makes me emotional because, I do feel like my mom is watching this and she is with me.
She definitely
Always.
is.
Ravi, I lost my dad 2 years ago, and I feel exactly, it's the club you don't want to be in, but man, do you think about them every day, and it gives you purpose and changes how your outlook on life. Let's jump into just a couple more fun travel questions. Thank you for that powerful statement.
I love that.
But any places that really like you were shocked by, other than Delaware, that you like went there and you're like, wow, this is more extraordinary than I expected.
Yeah, because you've gone everywhere.
Or wow, this is actually an uncomfortable, scary place. Or any of the that you just really had an emotional reaction to.
God, that's so hard because like I feel like everywhere I go, I find something.
Okay, I would be like, I hated North Virginia. I would just make up a place.
I did despise the first time I ever went to Amsterdam.
Interesting.
And maybe it was the people that I was with, but I was like, what is this garbage town? And everyone that was biking so intensely on the side of the road were yelling, and it was so cold, and I hated it. But then I went back for Pride.
So much biking.
Take your bike and get out of here.
No one wants to bike.
Take your bike and get out of here. And then I went back for Pride. My first night, I met up with friends, and we biked like 20 miles. I was that biker.
You did it.
Full circle. And it was glorious. I mean, it was absolutely beautiful. So I think that there's places that you're just not ready for yet.
Yeah.
What's your advice there if someone like traveling or like, I had so many people that are like, oh, I hate California. And I was like, I lived there and I loved it. Like, what's your advice to these people that judge before they like take it all in?
Well, I think like go in with a little bit of like lose your expectations, have hopes that for whatever, but like everything is so subjective, right? So it's like, yes, you can hate California, but then you can go, such a blanket statement because you can go to Palm Springs, you can go to Sacramento, you can go to LA, you can go to San Francisco, you can go to to the desert valley. I mean, there's so many different places. I think like you learn so much about yourself when you get out of your comfort zone and you just travel, and especially solo. Like if you can do solo travel, do it. You're going to learn so much about your patience. You're going to learn so much about humanity, and you're just going to like be pleasantly surprised.
I love that.
Oh
I know you have more travel questions before we wrap up. I know we're getting close to the end.
I know we can't keep you. We can't keep you forever.
For 2 hours.
I know. I do talk to him for 2 hours. It's ridiculous. Is there anything that's coming up? Obviously the DC trip, but is there anything else happening in your life that you want to share? Because I always say that like Ravi's just not one-sided, right? He travels around the world, he does all these things, but there's also like amazing projects you work on, beautiful people you meet. Is there a shout out that you want to give to something or someone in your life or something happening that you're like, oh, I haven't talked about this?
Are we looking for love? Are you in love?
Oh, Sarah's always about looking for love, which I love.
Am I? I won't talk career all life, but I want to gossip.
You love love.
I do love love.
She loves love.
I love love too, and I love finding love around the world.
Yeah.
Come on,
sorry, my voice got so weird on that because I was truly excited.
I might actually now change the question.
Give me the dirt.
Ravi's dating stories are incredibly funny, and I do feel, and I will say this to him, and I've said this to him before, I will write a show one day about your dating stories because they're ridiculous. But any fun dates you want to talk about?
Okay, so I'm going to be going on a trip to Sao Paulo, Brazil, and I'm going to be working with Delta Airlines, and I'm going to be doing their Delta First class version.
That's amazing.
I've never worked with Delta, so that for me is like a huge thing that I'm really excited about.
Huge. I have one last question before we let you go.
Go ahead.
Is there anything, because Sarah and I talk about things that make us happy. It could be anything. I mentioned ice cream. Sarah's not a fan. Is there something
I have dairy issues.
I get it. Ravi has like some dietary issues he'll talk to you about. Is there something in life, it could be simple, it could be dramatic, that just makes you happy on a daily basis that you're like, I want to share this. Makes me happy.
Well, right now I'm to like de-stress because I'm like at high stress right now because in 3 days I launch into like nonstop travel for the next 3 months. So to calm me down at night, I started binging and rewatching 24.
Yes.
Remember that?
Oh my God, I
24
used to
Jack
watch it
Bauer?
with my mom and dad when I was auditioning in New York and we would have pizza night. I would rewatch 24.
It's a good show.
Kiefer.
I'm on season 3, and I am just obsessed.
Oh, it's like
So,
you're
that is
guilty.
my,
Yeah.
go-to comfort spot. Also, like any kind of hijacking movie
That's
or
not very relaxing.
Wait, you're getting on a plane
yeah,
like every
anything
minute.
like that, like oddly calms me down when I'm really stressed out. So I like that. And lying on the floor and screaming.
Yeah. Okay. I punch a pillow, but I like that.
What?
Your neighbors, how do they feel about that?
I just listen to music. We lay on the floor and scream. Oh my goodness, I love it.
Just fucking scream it out. I don't know. I do punch a pillow or scream into a pillow. I do that.
I also really love to like ride a bike.
After Amsterdam, you've been changed, and that is the purpose of travel. May you open your eyes and see how people are different and embrace it, damn it.
I can't. Riding a bike. That's how I feel about like running. I'll ride it if someone's chasing me.
Well, Ravi, best of luck.
We love you.
We graze the surface of the stories that you can tell. When you're ready, write a book, or we're going to do a 24 version of Ravi.
You know what? We also need to have you back on in the future because travel etiquette. Yeah, you travel every day.
Are you fashionable on the plane? How much wardrobe? How many bags are you taking?
Oh, actually, well, sometimes I have to be fashionable on a plane if I'm doing like a partnership with an airline.
Delta One, what are you going to wear?
I don't know, but that it's also like I have to find the right TikTok sound and like what is this going to be, because it's gotta be tight. It's gotta be tight and right for Delta.
5, 6, 7, 8.
We love it.
Honestly, though, we'll have you back for travel etiquette. And don't give us any further, but I'll talk about one thing. My mother does clap when the plane lands.
Oh, the clapper.
Barbara's the clapper. She's like, we landed. Mama, we love you.
Clap to you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for doing our show.
This was so fun. I love you.
First guest.
We did it.
That's
First guest.
I think that might be an award, right? Should we send him like a Don't Start trophy?
You know what? Should we be sending our guests a Don't Start like swag bag or something at the end?
Well, let's get our merch going. Am I right?
Merch. Oh wait, we don't have that yet.
Merch. Anybody?
Producer?
God? Is that you?
Chad?
Oh, no, it was fantastic. And I think we grazed the surface with Ravi. I know we have to have him on again. But this is kind of like the friendship that you and I have.
Oh my God.
Where we say Don't Start because we just did, 40 minutes with him or so about.
I know.
And I could keep talking. But when we keep talking with another conversation, we can't stop.
I know. I was looking at the timer and I was like, oh crap.
You wrote me a note.
I did. I passed you a note like a fourth grader.
And I poked you back. Oh, no, I didn't exclamate. I wrote back on your note.
Yeah, but your pen was running out of ink. I'm like, what are you trying to say to me, Sarah?
I need a new pen. Please, anyone?
Producer. But I really do think that we will have him back because he, like you said, we scratched the surface. There's so much. He's recovered from addiction, which we'll bring up at some point. Maybe if we bring him back, he would love to talk about that.
Loss of a parent. Evolving into a new career, which we did talk a lot about, but also travel faux pas and how
seriously
traveling these days, I would say it is somewhat a nightmare.
And honestly,
have you heard of the term revenge travel since pandemic?
I've heard of it.
Which, let me tell you, that already feels ferocious.
Feels insane.
I'm in revenge.
We're going to do an episode of travel etiquette, which I think would be really fun. You can follow Ravi at Ravi Around the World on Instagram, and you can watch his packing videos, not even his travel, like all these different countries and cities that he's been to. His packing videos are hilarious.
How many fans does he bring?
Because he's like, I have 1,000 fans. I have 4 million cameras and tripods. And oh, by the way, I need everything colorful in this suitcase.
Yes,
it's insane.
In all rainbows, please.
All rainbows. So he's a lot of fun. I would check out his Instagram, follow him, go to his website. As a friend, he's one of my best friends. And as a friend looking back at him, it's like, I just feel so happy and proud for him because I'm like, he deserves that. He's a good human, a great person to have in your life, and he deserves all the success.
We have to talk happiness. So I'm going to talk one happiness, and this is maybe a little, we both got new cars.
We did, but ironically,
Is that your happiness?
You know what? Material stuff, not so much, but you know what
felt
feels.
Guilty. So I was going to tell you, it was very hard to spend that money.
I know you.
It wasn't
when you
fun.
got your new car, you were like, I feel really guilty.
It's not new. It's used. It only had 20,000 miles. I was still being a smart shopper. It wasn't brand new.
All right, that's great. Okay. I think you should enjoy your
but
your
my
car.
happiness is but I haven't been able to put the top down. It's a convertible, not my top. Hey-o.
I didn't want to get a new car. I wasn't planning on it, but I was driving and my car.
Don't start.
I know, right? Exactly. And my car like crapped out as I was driving, and it's a 2020. It's not totally old.
That's bizarre.
It's bizarre. And
what's the brand?
It's a Honda CR-V. My father worked for Honda
Honda's
for many
great.
years. Hondas are great cars. But things started going, the igniter and all these things and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, you know what? I know a lot about cars.
You're taking my happiness and you're stepping on it
your Honda
I'm not
crap
stepping.
out. I'm not.
What's your happiness? Move on. What's your happiness?
My happiness is leather heated seats.
What a snoot. She's an
such a
elitist,
snoot.
people.
I love it.
All right.
But that's seriously my
Take
happiness.
your hoops and get out of here. I'll see you next time.
Oh, fuck. We needed a better sign off. But
I
yes.
loved it.
Did you love it?
Yeah, get your hoops and get out of here. We'll talk to you later.
I'll see you next week,
Yeah,
Sarah.
Go sit on your heated leather seats.
They're so good. Thanks for joining us today.
You can follow us on Instagram at Don't Start Podcast.
Or subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
And we'll see you next time, friends.
Don't Start is produced by Anthony Street Productions.